joining me today, Stephanie and Lloyd. And Stephanie is a transsexual, born as a man, but who had surgery to actually change the physical being from a man to a woman. We've been talking about the sorts of problems which he had before he had the operation and became Stephanie and Lloyd. We've got to the point, Stephanie, where the decision has been made by you to go and have the surgery done. You've told people at work they're quite willing to accept this. Then, during all this hormone treatment and things, you didn't just have to take pills and stuff. You also had to learn to almost be like a woman. I was fascinated to read about how you changed the voice. Obviously, hormones will change the voice a little, but it doesn't affect the voice. You had to go and listen to tapes. Explain that to me a little.
Well, they devised a computer program. I'm never going to have the ultimate feminine voice. I realise that because, once the voice is broken, there's nothing they can do.
Okay.
But they devised a computer program that actually recognises the pattern of speech because, voices don't just differ in pitch between male and female. It's the actual construction of the sentences, the fact that women tend to go up at the end, men go down, all that sort of thing. Right. And women talk a lot with their hands and their bodies, where men don't. Mm-hmm. So, but this computer program recognises the pattern as to whether it's a male or a female. So, I used to go week after week, you see, and I used to, it overlaid the pattern of my voice, and it kept saying, it's a man, it's a man, it's a man. And one day, and there's a controller out there working all this marvellous equipment, and one day it said, this is a female voice. And she came in, and we were dancing around the room saying, it's a girl, it's a girl. like two demented fathers in a maternity ward,
Exactly.
Because after all this months of, sort of patient
working hard, exactly. And you also had to learn, as you mentioned, women talk a lot with their hands. Yeah. You had to learn to sort of twiddle your hair and play with your earrings and stuff.
And touch people, you see. Women
in a different way, yes.
Women touch each other a lot, where men are taught not to touch and all that sort of thing, you see.
Yes, even sitting. Men tend to sit with their legs open.
They do, yes.
Ladies don't.
Whilst men may wish that women sit with their legs open.
Exactly.
Women are trained, not to. And walking, it's such a doddle being a man compared with being
a woman.
Oh, my God, it's so easy. It's like falling off a log. Think, first of all, like heels, like stiletto heels.
Yes.
Going to the loo is a nightmare. You know what I mean? Especially in the winter. God, you have to get undressed.
And you had to get used to all these buttons and zips and stuff.
Everything's set up the wrong way.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And people treat you entirely differently, you see.
As a woman, as opposed to a man?
Well, automatically, you see, when I was a man and went along to see banks or important institutions, I always thought I was intelligent and everything else. As soon as they're faced with an attractive woman, the first thing that they think is that you're devoid of any brain whatsoever.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes, right.
That's both annoying.
Right.
There is a tremendous change in everybody. Even children relate to you differently as to whether you're male or female.
Right.
So, and then as well, you'll have the odd female there who's had electrolysis and have probably had 10 or 15 minutes. I was having 9 hours a week.
You didn't like that much, did you?
I didn't. It was horrendously painful.
Yes.
Horrendously painful.
Now, I don't want to go into all the fine details on the air of what actually physically is done in that operation.
The problem with describing the operation, you see, is it makes men wince and cross their legs, which is okay, but some of them have been driving.
It's really dangerous. It is very, very strange you say that. I was explaining to some of the folks in the office yesterday, and we actually got the book out and read your description of the operation, and that's exactly what happened.
That's exactly what happened.
All the men. Oh.
That's the way to make them cross their legs.
Absolutely right. Now, to get back to the story, it really, you could have gone back after the operation. You left work on, the 23rd of December, went and had the operation, returned.
Well, no, I actually came back to work. What actually happened is that I had the operation earlier, but I was off for several months recuperating.
Right.
And then I came back after Christmas. Yes, as Stephanie. Carried on. And it was a lot of, sort of tweaking of blinds and things. But everybody was fabulous to me.
And it probably would have remained that way
I would still have been there doing the job, I'm sure, had not one employee sold the story
to the press. Exactly.
For £100,
For £100. My goodness me.
And my world just fell about. I mean, it just fell apart from there on in.
Well, from there on in, I mean, you've managed, thank heavens, to weather the storms. As I say, I want people to go and read the accounts which you give in there. But you are actually now remarried, though not in the eyes of British law.
No, well, I mean, this is, people sort of, they then say, well, how can you say you're not gay and now you're married to a man? But, I mean, it was sort of evolutionary. Do you know what I mean? There was big gaps in between this, which they'll find out from the book.
Yes, exactly.
But, I mean, obviously, people, there'll be people listening to you now going to think, oh, this is a right freak. And that's probably some of the kindest comments, because, I get called a pervert, all sorts of things. And it's a bit like, if you'd have got, say, leukemia, you went through all this painful surgery and everything else, and then when you're cured, when somebody, you know what I mean? Your family leave you, your friends, and, and no one will give you a job and everything else. You go through all of this and then end up socially unacceptable.
Well, that was the case, certainly, after you lost your job and your wife decided that she could no longer cope with the whole situation. Do you ever get to see your children today?
I hadn't seen my children. I mean, Marilyn and I stay in touch. The tragedy of the whole thing, of course, is that in the purest sense of the word, we're still very much in love with each other, and that's what makes the whole thing so painful and difficult. But I haven't seen my children, and 3 weeks ago on Monday, I was buzzed by my secretary, and she said, Stephen's in reception. And I said, Stephen who?
Uh-oh.
And she said, it's your son. And
did you met?
had a few tears, and sort of, I went, and I remember I hadn't seen him since he was a 14-year-old schoolboy, and here he is, nearly a 23-year-old, great 6-foot hulking male, with a beard shadow and deep voice, and a girlfriend who's going to become his fiancée, where I think the encouragement came from.
To come and make that move.
I said the most inane thing. I saw him, totally, I said to him, good grief, Steve, and how you've changed.
That's a bit of an understatement coming from you.
Yeah, he looked at me as though I was mad. You know?
But at least he made the effort, and I hope
he did. And I mean, we went out and we had a meal with him and everything, and I just hope that's the beginning of the road back together.
Well, let's hope so indeed, because I mean, it is very difficult to explain to children that your dad is no longer your dad; he's now a female. I mean, I can't imagine children being able to cope with that.
I have to say, I mean, no one is ever going to accept me as a normal female, and no one's going to accept me, obviously, as a normal male. I'm stuck. That's why it says on the front of the book, the autobiography of a transsexual.
But there's one particular organisation who will just not accept you as anything but a male. The wonderful Inland Revenue.
Oh, well, the government. You see, I'm married. We married very romantically in Sri Lanka on St. Valentine's Day.
Lovely.
And so I'm legally David's wife abroad. When I come back into Britain, I'm not only not his wife, but they class me still as a single male for tax purposes. Now, I can, as a single male, legally marry another woman in this country now.
But yet
and then, as soon as I go abroad, I get arrested for bigamy.
Yes, exactly. That wonderful story which you took on, was it the cricket club?
Oh, the Lancashire Cricket
Yes,
Club.
Tell us that briefly.
Well,
I think it was wonderful.
Very briefly. I mean, I got this letter from the tax saying, dear Miss Lloyd, well, I have no doubts about your femininity. For tax purposes, you're still a man, so there. And at the same time, I read that for the third year running, the LCC had voted to keep women out, you see. And so I thought, right, I'll show them. So I applied to join the LCC and the name on my birth certificate. And they accepted my membership. And then at the next AGM, a year later, I troll up, you see, with a letter from the Inland Revenue, my birth certificate, my membership card and everything like that.
Yes.
And a velvet suit, and I even got a cricket tie on, just completely ensemble.
Brilliant.
And they said, oh, we can't come in, And
You're a woman.
So they fetched the secretary fetched the chairman fetches their solicitor, and he said, look, you haven't got any choice, you're going to have to let her in. So there was me and 2,000 men. and I got up halfway through, because you're allowed to get up and speak. And I said, look, you've chosen a woman as your patron, which is the Queen. I said, you've now got me as a member. Now, chaps, why not be sensible and let, the rest of the women in?
And did
they? And they did.
Yes.
So one blow,
Yes, exactly. I could talk with you for ages, Stephanie. It has been interesting, and I just wish you were here.
No, I just wish I was there in person.
Yes.
And I hope. I mean, I've been to Northern Ireland a lot, and I love it there.
Well, you'll have to come and see us sometime in the
Yes,
future, I hope.
I will indeed.
And as I said, there's so many areas we haven't covered, but we can't go through everything today. What are your hopes and dreams now for the future?
Well, I mean, my main thing is that I'm content and at peace, and I can handle, therefore, what the world throws at me. But basically, I've written the book because I've had 7 years of quite a lot of publicity.
Yes, exactly.
And I want to sort of draw a line and become a private person.
Right.
And I bought a house in North Wales. And I want to do all the things that, I've ever wanted to do. And the one thing I wanted to do is to research herbalism. And I'm going to cultivate endangered herbs, British herbs, from all over the British Isles, and cultivate them and keep them going.
Right. Well, we wish you well. And I hope that sometime we will see you here in person. Good luck with the book, and I hope that puts an end, after people have read it, to all the publicity which has come your way over the years. Thanks for giving me your time, and look forward to seeing you sometime.
Thank you very much, Lynda.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.